In 2022, Jim Mora led UConn to their first bowl game since 2015. He followed that up in 2023 with a 3-9 record. The Huskies will be much better in 2024, but will it be good enough to get back to the postseason? So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys, here to break down our official UConn college football prediction. Yes, we are predicting every game for every team and every game for all the independents, no matter how big or small these teams are. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of our weekly newsletter. Go sign up for that today. Also home of our expert picks, some of the best spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years, and we will make it 7 by the end of this year. So go check it out, guys. We want you to check it out, win big with us, and become a member of our GE Nation. So take a look at UConn. 3-9 last year, but a lot better than their record showed. The Huskies battled injuries in 2023. They had 4 one-possession losses to Florida International, Utah State, USF, and Boston College. And USF and Boston College, solid teams last year. So easily could have been another bowl team last year. Easily, to me, it was a lot better than that record showed. Just again, the injuries and the inability to win those close games was their downfall. Now you look at this team and you say, hey, they can flirt with a bowl game this year. On offense, 6 starters are back, and they should finally eclipse 20 points per game for the first time under Jim Mora as he enters his 3rd year with the program. Joe Fagnano was injured last year in week 2, but he was going to be the starter. But now he's back, fully healthy, should be good to go. But heaven forbid he gets hurt again or he doesn't pan out. Nick Evers transfers in from Wisconsin, a very solid transfer for the Huskies, and I think he could do very well if given the opportunity. Cam Edwards returns as their leading rusher from last year, over 600 yards, and the offensive line was very good, only gave up 12 sacks last season. They bring in some extra transfers to bulk it up and try to replicate that success. Defensively, 8 starters are back on that side of the ball for the Huskies, including 6 of the top 8 tacklers. Bryce Yates returns, 4.5 sacks from last year, back on the defensive line. 3 starters are back in the secondary, led by Durante Jones. This is an underrated Husky squad that still needs a lot of work, but should take a big step forward, at least statistically. Take a look at the schedule. It's a little bit tough. I will say they'll lose to Maryland in week 1. They hung tough with some Power 5 teams last year, only losing by 10 to NC State, only losing by 1 possession to Boston College. Maryland going to be dealing with some quarterback issues after the loss of Talia Tagovailoa, but not enough to go on the road and win this game. Huskies drop to 0-1. They'll beat Merrimack, 1-1. They'll lose to Duke, despite the Blue Devils having questions in the trenches, despite them dealing with a new coach and a new quarterback and everything like that. The Blue Devils have enough talent to beat the Huskies. It's going to be a closer game than some think, but Duke should come out with a win in year 1 under Manny Diaz. So they're 1-2, and then they enter the more winnable games, I guess I would say. No conference games, obviously. But they play Florida Atlantic. The Owls were bad last year, 4-8, but like the Huskies, had 4 one-possession losses, so a much better team than that final record showed. Cam Fancher now transfers in from Florida Atlantic, the transfer quarterback from Marshall, and they have 8 starters back on defense. This Tom Herman squad should look more like a Tom Herman squad in 2024. The offense should be significantly better. The defense really wasn't all that bad last year, giving up less than 26 points per game. This is their first meeting between these two squads as FBS opponents, but Florida Atlantic will get the win at UConn. So the Huskies drop to 1-3. But I'm going to get them back to 500 with back-to-back wins against Buffalo and Temple at home before going into their bye week. Buffalo went 3-9 last year, struggled significantly. Now they've got a brand new head coach in Pete Limbo. They lose their quarterback, their top 2 rushers, their top 5 pass catchers. They do return 7 starters on defense, but with the offense being as bad as it is and UConn's defense being a little bit more improved, the Huskies should take care of business and should find enough big plays offensively to win this game. And then against Temple, the Owls might be the worst team in the American Conference this year. They only average 96 rushing yards per game, and now their star quarterback, E.J. Werner, is gone from the program. Only 10 total starters are back. They have questions in the back 7 defensively. At home, riding momentum off of a win, UConn gets the win, and they are 3-3 entering their bye week. Halfway point of the season, halfway to bowl eligibility. Not a bad spot to be in. They come out of the bye week and they lose to Wake Forest. Have to take on another power conference opponent. The Demon Eagles may not be all that great this year. Going to flirt with a bowl game under Dave Clawson, but have a better offense than they had last year. Defense not going to be as bad as people think. UConn does drop this game despite having it at home off of a week of rest. Then they take on Rice. This could be the pivotal game for me. This could be the pivotal game that maybe sends UConn to the postseason or keeps them home. Rice last year lost to UConn. The Huskies were a 10-point underdog in this game and went on the road and beat the Owls 38-31. But remember what we just said about Temple. We said E.J. Werner was their quarterback and he transferred out. Well, where did he transfer to? He transferred to Rice. And E.J. Werner threw for over 3,000 yards for a bad Temple team last year. So Rice now has a capable, experienced quarterback. They've got their leading returning rusher in Dean Connors, over 700 yards last year. And they've returned all but one of their top pass catchers, and they return all of their top 6 tacklers. This Rice team is going to flirt with a bowl game this year. They have the talent to do so, and they're going to get their revenge on the road at UConn. Long road trip for the Owls, going from Texas up to the East Coast, but the Owls get the win, and UConn suffers their second straight loss, going from 3-3 to 3-5. I think they beat Georgia State. They lost to the Panthers by 21 points last year, but this Georgia State team is going to be drastically different. So they lose their quarterback, their top 2 rushers, 3 of their top 5 tacklers, and now have a new head coach in Del McGee. All the new changes that Georgia State's going to have to go through. I think UConn bounces back, 4 wins, which means now, entering their final 3 games, they'd get to win 1 of them, or to say 2 of them, to go bowling. It's going to win 2. Could it be on the road at UAB that they get a big-time win? UAB last year went just 4-8, but I'm here to tell you that the Blazers are sneaky good in 2024. Their offense, despite going 4-8, their offense was awesome. 450 yards per game. That's what UAB averaged. Star quarterback Jacob Zeno does return this year, and the defense, while atrocious last year, was ultimately UAB's downfall, should be much improved. Having to play this game now in Birmingham against, again, a Blazer squad that I think could flirt with a bowl game and be a sneaky good team in their conference, wins this game, meaning now UConn has to win their final 2 games to get back to the postseason. And when you realize that coming out of the bye week, they have to play Syracuse on the road, you realize it's just not going to happen. The Syracuse team, if you watched our ACC predictions, you hear how high we are on them, how excited we are to see the new era under Fran Brown, all the transfers that he brought in. The Syracuse team should really dominate UConn in this game. Cruise past them relatively easily, which means UConn, sitting at 4-7, will not be going bowling this year. The last game of the year on the road at UMass, playing for pride, playing for an extra win, playing for their seniors in their final game despite it not being senior day. Their senior day is going to be on November 1st against Georgia State as they have 3 straight road games in the year. At UMass, UConn does win. They won 31-18 last year. I expect this game to be about the same this year. The Minutemen still not quite there under Don Brown. Still have a lot of questions on both sides of the ball. UConn wins that game, finishes the year at 5-7, 1 game short of making the postseason. Maybe that win comes against Florida Atlantic. Maybe it comes against Rice. Maybe it comes against UAB. There are winnable games in this schedule where if just one goes their way, they're back in the postseason for the second time in the last 3 years. But I ultimately think they fall just short. Improved statistically, improved in the win totals, but not enough to reach their ultimate goal. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube, taking UConn at 5-7. But don't worry, basketball season will be right around the corner as the Huskies go for a 3-peat when it comes to national titles. Unbelievable. And Dan Hurley stayed, by the way. But as always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of those expert picks, home to that newsletter there. Go sign up for all those to become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.